Black United Nation TV, coming to you live from Antigua and Barbuda. Emancipation Day celebration of the Bobo Shanti, taking it to the streets of Antigua and Barbuda. We do give thanks for the Emancipation Day celebration. Black United Nation TV is bringing to you live. Please subscribe, leave a comment. Yeah, put some like.
If I am satisfied, no. If people who really can appreciate what freedom is, fully understood what it is, then there would not be this number here this morning.
Yep.
And this is much better than it was in the last few years. The time David made mention of, when about over 3, 4, and 5, and 6,000 people used to descend on this area. It says something. We were either not doing the right things at that specific time to be able to sustain the interest in what we were doing here, or we still have some brain damage to correct.
Yep.
I personally believe that because we did not exist in the 17th century, we cannot even appreciate what enslavement means. If you understood what the people in Coffee Time had to endure, then you would better be able to appreciate this most important celebration in our lifetime. This day we celebrate freedom. We give thanks this morning for all the good work of the revolutionaries who have brought us to this stage. And I want to tell you that they have bequeathed responsibilities to us, and we must honor those responsibilities. Thank you very much for hearing me this morning.
Thank you, Brother Trevor Prescott, for your presentation. Very important presentation, because we have to carry a very strong battle against Richard Drax. Not only here in Barbados, but right in his constituency, where labor unions are demonstrating and protesting and demanding that Richard Drax pay reparations. At this point, I would like to recognize our brother Lalu from the June 13th movement, a movement that is linked to Dr. Walter Rodney. And I would like to also recognize all of the brothers and I think sisters who are here for the Global African Congress Conference on reparations. Some of them are here with us this morning. And at this point, I would like to invite the chairman for the reparation conference in Barbados, and also the Global African Congress, Brother Sakaya Thomas, to bring you a short message. So would you please welcome him?
Thank you. Thank you.
First Baptist Church, founded in 1826 in Toronto by 12 fugitive slaves seeking freedom. They arrived on the Underground Railroad a few years shy of August 1st, 1834, the day slavery was abolished across the British Empire, including Canada, a day historian Rosemary Sadler says Canadians still know very little about.
On the lands that we now call Canada, slavery began in 1628, the enslavement of Africans. It did not end until August 1st, 1834.
The passing of the Abolition Act freed over 800,000 people across the Caribbean, South Africa, and in Canada, initiating Emancipation Day celebrations in places like Windsor, St. Catharines, Amherstburg, and Toronto.
Initially, it was about perhaps more identity building and celebration, but it also took on an element of advocacy for the end of slavery, because slavery here was over.
Because slavery wasn't over for everyone. The U.S. would wait 30 more years before ending the practice, during which time tens of thousands fled to Canada to taste emancipation.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.
On their journey to freedom, many African Americans would stop and settle here in Owen Sound, the northernmost part of the Underground Railroad. The courage and experiences of these pioneers are commemorated here in Harrison Park. Where's that one from?
That's an old slave song. Swing low, sweet chariot.
Many of them came up the Bruce Trail, and they ended up coming right here to the northern terminus, or the Cairn.
In Owen Sound, Emancipation Day has been celebrated for 160 years, the longest in North America. Jeffrey Smith, a descendant of former slaves who settled here, says it all started with a family picnic by this freedom seeker, Father Miller.
And this is where they met every year in Harrison Park. It was all about a gathering of togetherness and celebration. We are now free. We are now emancipated.
Today, Emancipation Day celebrations continue around the world, with carnival festivals in the Caribbean and here in Canada, all rooted in August 1st. But despite its long history in Canada, only recently did the country formally recognize the day. In March 2021, the House of Commons voted unanimously to designate August 1st Emancipation Day nationally. A descendant of freedom seekers herself, Rosemary, who played an instrumental role in the passing of the motion, says Emancipation Day is just as relevant to Canadians now as it was then.
I think that it's also a time not only of reflection, but also a time of planning for what other things we need to do to make things better for ourselves and for coming generations, for Black people and for all Canadians. Because what makes things better for Black people ultimately makes things better for the entire society.
Kayla McLean, Global News.
Jambo, Salam, Akap, Ibolachi, Sani Bonani, Mohoro. These are just the few ways our ancestors who came from Africa said hello to each other, depending on their country of origin. Though the languages in the Caribbean have long been lost in the fabric of time, we honor their sacrifices by being ever cognizant of their struggles. To this end, each year, Guyana, like other English-speaking countries in the Caribbean, celebrates the anniversary of freedom from slavery on Emancipation Day. Here in Guyana, it is celebrated on the 1st of August each year. The celebration of emancipation is extremely important, as it is seen as a factor in the history of this dear land of many waters and 6 peoples. It contributed to several elements of social, political, and cultural developments, and the act of emancipation created a need that led to the arrival of the other racial groups, who were brought in as indentured immigrants from India, China, Portugal, and other parts of Europe, to replace the formerly enslaved Africans as the labor force on sugar plantations drastically reduced. Emancipation transcends into the triumph of the African spirit and created the opportunity for the development of the village movement, which is responsible for the communities and village structures within which the majority of Guyanese live in this modern society. There are many public and highly visible exhibitions which mark the celebrations from the end of July, such as Ujamaa 2.0, which recently concluded on Main Street. There is also a custom for staff to outfit themselves in African wear on the eve of Emancipation Day or the last working day before August 1. Then there is the Emancipation Festival at the National Park. The festival is meant to revive, exhibit, and highlight African life, culture, and customs in a concentrated public space, which is the large expanse of the National Park in Georgetown. And this year it returns after a hiatus due to COVID. The activities in this festival include demonstrations of folk and village games, the exhibitions and sale of craftwork using African motifs and styles, craftwork and artifacts made out of indigenous material, artwork, drawings, and paintings, food with an emphasis on African cuisine, indigenous, local, and Creole food items, and drinks. Happy Emancipation, Guyana. Let's continue to be inspired by the sacrifices of our forefathers as the heirs of their pain, to craft a greater, greener, freer Guyana. To Yenge Guyana Moha. Let's build one Guyana.
To see the parade?
Yes, because we haven't seen this parade in a very, very long time. So I'm so excited. I've been out here from 6 o'clock. Standing right here, ready up and down.
Why is that?
Because I am so happy for the culture, for the people. We have come a long way. And finally, Jamaica seems to be bringing back this float and, the drama, the excitement, the policemen on the horses. And oh my God, I'm so happy. If I die today, I'll be very happy.
Like the flows that I've seen so far, experience is great, especially for the children. I really push to come out, especially so the children could have that experience, and I'll definitely be back next year and years to come.
I'm enjoying myself immensely to the fullest, to the max.
You've been out here for how long?
I've been out here before the beginning of the flow.
And you plan to be here for the entirety of it?
Oh, definitely.
Is this something that you enjoy seeing on an annual basis?
I'm sorry?
Is this something you'd enjoy seeing on an annual basis?
Everything I saw today, I'd love to see on an annual basis. And what I love the most is the unity of the people today. I really love that, and I wish we could have that in Jamaica 365 days. I've been saying it all day.
How old is he?
He's 2.
Why did you feel like you needed to carry him to the parade this year?
I think because Jamaica has really lost its culture and it's bringing it back. It's remembering our old days, where we come from, and it's something that young people should, experience. Remember their culture. Because I think it has been lost for a long while, and I'm really happy, really excited. We as young ones remember what our parents had brought us to, and we can, relate and say, this is something that we went through, so he can just look back and see the pictures and just get to enjoy it and say, oh, my parents took me to this, so he can pass it on to his children when he gets up to that age.
Did you usually come to the parades?
Yeah, when I was younger. Like probably 10, 12, thereabouts.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. We asked all about the Jamaica representative. Well, and the tourist attraction and all those stuff.
What inspired this? I don't have to ask what inspired this a little, but how did you put this together?
Love for Jamaica. Love for Jamaica. I decided to make my glasses this morning, put on my hat, and come down here.
You made this morning?
Yes, no.
What went into making this?
Listen, I just bought a hat, get piece of cloth, and said, this is Jamaica. And of course, it's not even the outfit, it's the spirit.
It's probably the best hat I've seen so far. I see you even have your Jamaica 50.
I have 50. This was a 50 glasses, I'm going to bust it off this morning. I'm making a 60.
You did it on your own?
Yes, this morning, bust it off.
You're not here by yourself. Who are you with today?
Oh, this is my nephew. This is Roger, and I wanted him to come to experience, to really and truly experience it.
How come you never make an outfit for him? Why Roger looks so, just him shirt?
By tomorrow, Roger are going to look like a clown.
A regular clown or a Jamaica clown?
Jamaica clown. I want if he goes abroad, and when this time of year comes around, he must remember that this is what he's part of. This is him. Can't forget it. This is what he's
How have you been enjoying the parade so far, Roger?
Well, so far I've been enjoying it. This is my first parade, and seeing like the horses, the police force, and everybody's just been really like showing us where we come from and how far we can go forward.
The parade wasn't without hiccups as protesters for the missing social media starlet Donnelly Donaldson came out in their numbers to make sure that their plight was heard. I can't tell how many protests have happened about the Donnelly situation so far. Why was it important for you to come out on Emancipation Day for this?
Symbolically, what has been happening is that despite we're politically independent for 60 years, we have had a situation where the country and the nation is deprived, is destitute, and somewhat desperate Jamaicans are desperate for justice. We're desperate for truth. We're desperate for corruption to end. What is symbolical about this protest is that every time a protest happens in our country, once we do a one protest, nothing happens. But we believe that if we keep this protest going, more and more Jamaicans who are affected by the injustice, the inequalities within our justice system will come out and join. So this week we have Chantel Blake's family, who is a part of the process, because Chantel Blake has been missing from the 6th of January. And the police did nothing much for the investigation to be completed. And then 7 months after, the remains of Chantel are being found in a precipice. And what the mother got, a bone, a skull. How many other Jamaicans, like Chantel Blake, like Donnelly Donaldson, wants justice? Many want justice. And the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the security forces by and large can do more.
As vowed by Prime Minister Philip Pierre last year, this year's Emancipation Day observance was not just a typical holiday. The activities around the island held over the weekend signaled the beginning of a renewed consciousness amongst the St. Lucian people. One of the core activities was the unveiling of the Emancipation hero, Petronil Dwayne, at Dennery on Sunday. This was followed by a well-attended bonfire concert.
This enslaved woman ran into trouble with her colonial masters after she refused to work. She eventually committed marronage by running away, but was later captured and beaten. This, however, was not the end of the brutality she encountered, as she was then publicly placed in a pillory, a cage in which her head was out and hands tied at her back. Petroni died in that cage on April 9, 1833, and the overseer claimed she strangled herself. Mem si nou kagaje, but after all, yo di nou kagaje, but after all, ukopwan. Yes, her death led to much unrest, and armed guards were dispatched from Castries to quell the protest, which later ensued.
Activities on Emancipation Day kicked off with the drum and dance juve and spectacle at the Castries waterfront. Prime Minister Philip Pierre noted that the events this year are more than just a long overdue grander commemoration of emancipation.
Our forefathers were not merely passive recipients of emancipation. The story of their struggle must be told. Celebrating Emancipation Day, therefore, is to celebrate the victory of our ancestors over the system that enslaved them. Celebrating Emancipation Day is to say that we are strong enough to overcome the slavery of our times, poverty, high unemployment, violent crime, and underemployment. Celebrating Emancipation Day is to say that we as a people are determined to become a prosperous nation, conscious of our strengths and abilities, inherited from our slave foreparents, proud of whom we are and from whence we come.
Minister with responsibility for culture, Dr. Ernest Hille, underscored the need for homage to be paid to the Rastafarian community, who had been at the forefront of emancipation celebrations over the years.
When people were afraid to speak about reparations, the Rastafarians were talking about it. And when our consciousness dropped low, the Rastafarians work hard to raise our level of consciousness. And you must all admit, over the years, they've gone through a lot of oppression. Our society has ostracized Rastafarianism. We know the history. Let's not pretend it is not so. And I am pleased today they can come forth and they can celebrate as the true custodian of our consciousness over all the few years that we've evolved as a society.
The Rastafarian community, meanwhile, has presented to the Acting Governor General a 7-point demand for restorative justice for atrocities suffered by the religious group over the years.
The first one, land ownership, provide a framework to assist in acquiring land with infrastructural development, ecological sustainable housing, and community-based development. The desired lands include lands currently occupied by Rastafari groups and individuals, and unoccupied crown lands associated with atrocities against Rastafari. Example, Mount Jimmy.
Health care. Facilitate capacity building in alternative medicine technologies and funding for psychological and emotional support for the years of trauma inflicted upon the community by agents of the government.
Another feature of the Emancipation activities was the Deconstructing Emancipation in St. Lucia lecture delivered by veteran diplomat and historian Dr. Joan Soomer. She currently serves as CARICOM's representative at the UN Permanent Forum for People of African Descent.
I am calling for us to write our own freedom declaration, our own emancipation pronouncement, aimed at repairing the damage and affirming our commitment to freeing our minds and moving forward triumphantly.
Emancipation Day activities culminated at Sofra with a grand freedom concert. Emancipation celebrations will continue throughout the rest of the month. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
The annual Cambole procession returned to the streets of Port of Spain following a 2-year hiatus as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Following the tributes to our ancestors at the Treasury building on Monday, the crowd followed the route to the Lich Yasu Omowale Emancipation Village at the Queen's Park Savannah. Kimberly D'Souza has more.
Emancipation celebrations have returned for 2022, and one of the most significant events on the calendar is the Emancipation Procession. Education Minister Dr. Nian Gadsby-Dolly, who is no stranger to the procession, having held the Ministry of Community Development, Culture and the Arts portfolio, said the procession signifies unlimited potential.
And this commemoration is important not just for us, but for the children that come behind us to understand that as children, as people of African descent, you can go anywhere you want to, you can do anything you want to in Trinidad and Tobago, and that is extremely significant for me.
Minister of Youth Development and National Service Foster Cummings said the Emancipation Day holidays signify the pride and freedom of the African people.
Coming out of what was one of the most horrific experiences of slavery, and now we meet every year to celebrate that slavery is behind us, and as a people we are free and liberated.
Others who participated in the procession shared the significance of the day.
This is significant for all that we have been through all the years, hundreds of years. It obviously is significant for us as a people to get together and identify with our motherland.
And today is just a day, to commemorate and to remind us of what we have been through and how we have overcome slavery and how we can move forward from that.
One group, Kaiso, who sought to promote sex and gender justice, said they were happy to be a part of the procession for the first time as it raises awareness of their Mapping and Justice campaign. Meanwhile, Calypsonian Dwayne O'Connor said renaming the streets and parks are very important to keeping the ancestors' memory alive.
Like Oxford Street, what they said they're about to do, they already laid a petition to get Oxford Street named after Kwame Ture, one of Trinidad and Tobago's greatest, who of course is well acclaimed across the world, different parts of the world, and in his own homeland. So it's very important that we need to get some of those things done.
One attendee also called on more support from the business community, which he revealed was lacking in their efforts this year. Kimberly D'Souza, TTT News.
Greetings again, brothers and sisters and cousins of the other races who support our struggle for economic equality with the other races. Welcome to this special episode of the Black Economic Network channel, in which we are commemorating Emancipation Day, the first week of August each year. In this video, we are showing the Emancipation celebrations in different countries, and this is just a sample of the celebrations because there are celebrations in other countries. But we are just showing the sample from across the Caribbean, different Caribbean countries, and in Canada, where slaves were emancipated by the British colonial slave masters, the British government, in 1834. And this is of course a special event, and the episode is to us a special episode, and it also coincides with the August which is the first week of August, when we are also commemorating the first anniversary of the Black Economic Network channel. We started last year deliberately in the first week of August to coincide with Emancipation Day, and the first year has been pretty good. So I want to say thanks for your support, and asking for your continued support, and so we can grow more and more. The first year has been pretty good, with viewers from about more than 50 countries, and I'm going to say maybe 20 major countries, North America, Caribbean, and Africa, main countries, and even in Asia, some places that we didn't know that there were many African people living. I need to mention and say thanks to viewers in South America also, South America, Central America, and in Europe. In fact, the largest, or one of the largest number of viewers are in Brazil, among some of the other, surprisingly, among some of the other countries. But so I just wanted to, I hope I haven't left out any major country where we got to support. Caribbean, Africa, or I should say region, the Caribbean, Africa, North America, especially in the United States, Central America, pretty much most regions of the world, including as far as some Asian countries. Okay. So thanks for your support. Keep supporting the channel, and watch the videos and subscribe to the channel, and all the best until the next video. Okay, bye-bye.